Hey everyone. Today we're diving into something that's absolutely critical for lung health, but it's often totally overlooked. We're talking about the powerful connection between the food we eat and, literally, how well we can breathe. So think about this for a second. What if the real key to breathing better wasn't just about what's happening in your lungs, but what's happening on your plate? We put so much focus on medicines and inhalers, but what if the fuel you're putting in your body is just as important? Let's see what the science actually says. Okay, so let's get right into it. For a lot of folks with respiratory diseases, there's this really dangerous cycle that can take hold. The disease itself, the breathlessness, the constant fatigue, it makes it incredibly hard to just eat. And that leads to malnutrition, which then weakens the body, making the lung disease even worse. It's a truly vicious feedback loop. And we're not just talking about feeling a little run down here. This malnutrition can lead to a very specific condition, something called respiratory myopathy. Basically, it's a direct attack on the very muscles you need to breathe, especially that powerhouse muscle, the diaphragm. And as those muscles waste away, every single breath becomes a huge struggle. The scale of this is just, wow. It's staggering. Research shows that when a person's body weight drops to just 70% of what it should be, their diaphragm muscle can shrink by up to 43%. Think about that. That's nearly half of your main breathing muscle, just gone, all from not getting enough of the right nutrition. And this chart lays out the real-world difference perfectly. On one side, you have strong, well-fed breathing muscles. That means you're using oxygen efficiently, you can take good, strong breaths, and you can cough effectively to clear out junk and prevent infections. But on the other side, weakened muscles mean every breath takes way more energy. Your breathing gets shallow, and your risk of infection just skyrockets. All right, let's look at this from an energy perspective. For most of us, the energy it takes to breathe is something we never even think about. But for someone with a condition like COPD, the simple act of breathing can burn up to 10 times more calories. It basically turns their body into a calorie-incinerating furnace, which makes keeping weight on even tougher. So if every single calorie is that precious, where should they come from? Well, this brings us to a concept called the respiratory quotient, or RQ. It might sound technical, but it's really simple. It's just a measure of how much carbon dioxide your body makes for the amount of oxygen it uses. And as you can see here, when you burn carbs for fuel, you produce a lot of CO2, which means more work for your lungs to get it out. But when you burn fat, you produce way less CO2. And this quote from the research really nails it. For someone whose lungs are already struggling, a diet packed with carbohydrates can literally make it harder to breathe. It just piles on the work, forcing their lungs to go into overdrive to clear out all that extra CO2. This is why the type of fuel you use is every bit as important as the amount. But here's the good news, right? This is not a one-way street. We can absolutely fight back. Nutrition isn't some passive thing. It's an active, targeted therapy that can make a huge, real-world difference. So let's open up the toolkit and see what's inside. So based on that whole respiratory quotient idea, this is what the ideal balance looks like for many COPD patients. You'll notice it's higher in fats. That gives you clean, efficient energy with less CO2 waste. And it has a really solid amount of protein to help fight off that muscle loss we were just talking about. And we can get even more specific. The toolkit should include plenty of high-quality protein to rebuild those breathing muscles. Then you've got omega-3 fatty acids, which are fantastic for fighting the inflammation that's so common in lung disease. Vitamin D is in there to help the immune system fight off infections. Antioxidants from fruits and veggies are key too. And that last one, high-fiber foods, hang on to that because we're going to come back to it in a big way. Now, theory is great, but what does this actually look like for a real person? Let's take a look at a case study that shows just how massive an impact this can have. So here's the story. We have a 71-year-old man diagnosed with a serious lung disease called IPF. He starts his medication, but then a severe loss of appetite hits him hard. He loses over 9 kilos, and his lung disease gets worse. But here's the turning point. They pause his medication, and a dietitian starts him on a high-fat, high-protein nutritional plan. And look at what happened. He started gaining weight back, and crucially, the progression of his lung disease stabilized. It got him strong enough to successfully restart his main medication. And the conclusion from the doctors who treated him is just so powerful. They said that nutritional therapy isn't just a nice little add-on. No. They said it is equally important as the primary drug they use to treat the disease. That completely changes how we should be thinking about the role of food in medicine. Okay, so remember I told you to hang on to that idea about high-fiber foods? Well, this is why. We're about to look at one of the most exciting new frontiers in this whole field. We're talking about the gut-lung connection. I know it might sound strange. Your gut and your lungs, they're not even next to each other. But it turns out they are in constant communication. This gut-lung axis means that what's going on in your gut, especially with all the trillions of microbes living there, has a direct and really profound impact on the immune response and inflammation happening in your lungs. And here's the amazing part, how it actually works. It's like a chain reaction. Step 1, you eat fiber from things like veggies and whole grains. Step 2, the good bacteria in your gut absolutely love this stuff, and they ferment it. Step 3, that fermentation process creates these amazing little compounds called short-chain fatty acids, or SCFAs. These SCFAs then get into your bloodstream, travel all over your body, and when they get to the lungs, they act like messengers that help calm down inflammation and strengthen your immune defenses. So let's wrap this up. What are the big takeaways here? First, malnutrition isn't passive. It's an active enemy that literally destroys your breathing muscles. Second, the kind of calories matter. Shifting to a higher fat, lower carb intake can take a huge load off the lungs. Third, and this is so important, targeted nutrition is a powerful therapy, not just a wellness tip. And finally, taking care of your gut with fiber is a direct way to take care of your lungs. All of this science really leads to a final, pretty exciting question. As we get even better at understanding this amazing gut-lung connection, could we see a future where personalized diets designed specifically for your own microbiome become a first-line treatment for respiratory disease? It's a pretty incredible thought. Thanks so much for joining me.